Friday morning, what are we, the 20th of June. Actually, now that I mention it, the 20th of June. Tomorrow is the longest day of the year. Yeah, tomorrow is summer solstice. Now, the carry on here is that I was going to, these were my cull haired. I was going to sell this lady here. We have Davy's heifer here, who's actually not doing too badly. Let me just walk on over to her. She is starting to thrive. She has that bad back leg. She got cut last year, for those of you that don't know, but it has cured out now. But she's starting to use it all right. You can see her there actually, just looking after herself. She's putting weight on it when she walks, but there's a kind of what would you call it? There is a kind of an arthritis in the joint. So the infection went into the joint, and the infection has left. It's gone, but it's left a swelling around her. It's what you would call an ankle in a human, but it's her hock. So she's a little bit tender on it. You can see it there now. Yeah, so walk on, girl. Come on. Go on, up you go. So she uses it. And to be honest with you, I'm satisfied with that. I think that's as good as it's going to get, but she's well able. She's not in any pain. She is able to get up and lie down and graze away, so I'm happy with that. This here is our beef bullock. He is thriving away nicely now as well, so what I'm doing is I'm waiting for this fella to develop the little wrinkles here. So this is when we know he has enough. You can see when I turn it that way that they're there, but they have to kind of, they're nearly there. So that boy will be ready, I would say, in August. We'll give him another while yet. But what I'm going to do is now, at the minute, let me just go over here as well. I'll show you, this cow was due to go, but here is my train of thought now. I'm very fond of this heifer. She is the youngest of Jasper's calves. She is growing at a serious rate. She's doing really well. This cow here is a second calf cow. I was going to cull her because I just don't like the way she tends to be that little bit thin. Now, I did give her a dose when we were testing, but she has that traditional kind of short-horn Friesian-y look to her. But she has lovely calves. She had a lovely bull calf last year, and now she had a really small calf, and she has grown serious. Look at the size of that calf in comparison to the cow already. So here is my train of thought. Because I have two cows due to calf still, the bull is not going to be here long enough to bull them and get them back in calf again. Because they're late calvers, it'll take maybe 3 months for them to start cycling again, and the bull will be gone. So because of that, I'm going to keep this lady. I'm going to leave her down and bull her. So that's the carry on there. I'm very happy with her riggit bull. I'll be down to him now in a second and I'll show you. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set up a little bit of a paddock, and I'm going to graze them this grass here. This field hasn't been fertilized chemically in over 15 years. Now, and this was the original field that I started to farm regeneratively in, and I am very pleased. This has been grazed 3 times this growing season already, and that is the kind of cover that I absolutely love. You've got a wide variety of different grasses. You have your red clovers, you have your white clovers, and look at the size of those clovers at that. So this is really, you've got your wildflowers. It is ideal diversity, and you can see all your butterflies floating around there. Look at that, and a really rich green colour at that. So this to me is just perfect. In there is a wood that blew down the storm. The whole lot of it levelled. Now this to me is just perfect. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go down to the rest of the cattle. I'll show you them now. And then I will make up a paddock here. I'm going to make a paddock large enough to do these for a few days because I have to go away at the weekend. And when I come back, then I'm going to move them out of this field altogether and onto other grass. But I'm going to have to sort out this lady and get her gone. Davy's heifer, I don't know what I'll do. I might chance her. She's definitely improving, and I think it's only better she's going to get. There's a kind of a, what do you call it, an arthritis in that leg. But it's doing her no harm. Right. Oh yeah, our ponies are here. So we have Luna, and we have Midnight, and we have Monica, our foal, our filly foal. I'll do a better video of these again. But they're following up the cattle in our little micro herd. So they're going to come in here now. And then the cattle will be going on this lovely green grass. Right. Let me go down to the rest of them. I'll move them when I come back. They're alright for now. I'll let this. We're early in the morning. I'll allow the sugars to rise in that grass before I move them in. They say afternoon moves, if it's possible, are better. Because the bricks is higher in the grass when it's actively photosynthesizing. That's what they say. Right, let me go down to the rest of them. So we have the same scenario going on here. We have the ponies directly behind the cattle. Now where are our cattle? Let me jump this fence. This is my stronger poly braid wire now, and when I get a bang of it, I get a bang of it. Oh. Right, okay, here's our cattle. So I was looking through my records, and we are on a little over or a little under a 45-day rotation at the minute. And the reason why it's that little bit shorter is because we had we had the larger herd going around earlier in the spring. We had a dry spring and we were that little bit tight for grass, so they were sped up. But I don't believe that 45 days is anyway kind of short. I think it's ideal, to be honest with you, especially in the high growing season. If the grass is ready and it's recovered, I will graze it. I would rather graze it off when it's at that peak level, juvenile level, where it's actively grown, fully recovered, and the nutrition is in it. I don't want to lose that nutrition and allow the grass to go into reproductive mode where it starts to shoot and throw up seeds. So if I can catch the grass before it throws up seeds, it's at its most nutritious. Now, having said that, let me jump this wire again. More poly braid, look at that. Oh Lord, God help us. So the situation is here now. We have our bull, Blue, that's lying down over here. She was bulling yesterday, so he has her served. I witnessed that personally myself. So I am very pleased with that. He's working, and he's not overly killing out himself. He served her and he went away grazing then for the day. So I was asked a question, and I love getting questions because it gets my mind going and thinking, and it leads me to do a little bit of research. So I was asked, how did this riggit Galloway come about? So basically the Galloway, let's just forget about the belted Galloway now. They have a different history, even though they're the one breed. But apparently the belted Galloway was bred with some Dutch dairy breed that has a belt, and it was the belt that was held onto, and then they rebred them to have that Galloway full genetic. So the only part of that Dutch breed that they held onto was the belt pattern. So then on the other side you had the solid coloured Galloways. So you had a solid black, a solid dun, a solid red, and you also had a white. So the white Galloway, when crossed with the solid Galloway, the degree of pattern or the degree of roaning or whitening would come this way. So basically when you had your white Galloway, there would be what you would call a throwback, and every so often they would get a solid colour on the body here, like a big large white section here underneath, and this colour of the animal would come on the sides, and they would call that a throwback, and they used to cull them out of the hares because they wanted to keep the white cattle pure and the solid cattle pure. So these were kind of neglected and they almost went extinct. But then there was an effort then to keep them and to not lose them. So any riggit that was then born like this was allowed to be registered under a riggit registry. So then they have built up in numbers now. So the Galloway now, if you were to think, is about 1%, if not less, of the world cattle population, and the riggit would be 1% of the 1%. So that tells you how rare these animals are. Now, this bull is super quiet. He doesn't notice me at all, but I definitely give him his space. I'll back up the hold. He's there working away now, checking out his cows. So basically there's white Galloway genetics in him and there's solid colour Galloway genetics in him. So there's a varying degree of whiteness that comes in them. If you had a solid Galloway with a white tip on his tail, that would be the last touch of a white Galloway that's in that animal. So you could try and breed back a white animal from a solid coloured Galloway that had just that little bit of white on his tail. That would suggest that there was definitely white genetics in him. So they're kind of a half and half. The short horn now, when they're solid and they have that Rowan gene, they just kind of tend to become, the back ends of them gets whiter and the front ends of them tends to be like this lady here. Well, Beltimore, you still haven't calved yet. I forgot about you actually. Look at the weight of you, girl. What are you at? So you can see here now, this is actually a red calf, or a red animal, that has the Rowan gene. So she's gone white. And the last of it to go then is the head. Davy's heifer, you saw earlier in the video, has 2 copies of the Rowan gene. That's why she is fully white. So these have 1 copy each. That's why they're that Rowan-y colour. But with the Galloway, whatever way the genetics works, they kind of become white in a strange kind of a way. It becomes dominant around their spine and down underneath their belly. So if you were to breed that lad with a white Galloway, you would most likely have a white calf. But if you were to breed a riggit with a riggit, you would have, I would say you'd nearly have the chance. It's possible that you could have a white calf, a solid calf, or a riggit. Now somebody, if I'm wrong, you may correct me. But that was what I heard on my quick little bit of a research. That's a real good bull. I could stand and look at him all day. Look at the length of that fella. Now, if I was to get an artist and I was to describe what kind of a bull I wanted, if he didn't show me a picture of him, I'd have said he was wrong. That fella's mad, the bull. Look at that for a stretch. So the farm that fella was on is now calving from August, which would suggest that he bred them August, July, June. Wait now, no, I'll go the other way. August, September, October, November. So he bulled them in November. So this fella hasn't really had much of a... He hasn't been jumping cows since November. Am I right? Well, anyhow, it's been a while for him. So is any wonder he's anxious? Even though that doesn't look that anxious. He's just super quiet and calm. So So I moved them into this grass last night. This is going to do them for the rest of the day. There's lots of it here. As I said, 42 days rest, to be exact. And that's with the ponies following behind. I've noticed that the grass growth is better now than it was after the 42 days ago. When I'm coming through, I can see that the regrowth after a couple of days is really good now. So I don't mind hitting grass that's short if it's fully recovered. Yeah, things are a little bit different this year with the ponies coming behind and the numbers that I had and the dry weather, but I'm happy enough. So things are really quiet. This video is probably going to get too long now. We're all going to be watching out for Belty more. I really should put her up and get a look at her. Although I hate doing it. She's so relaxed there. Chewing her cud. So I'm basically just down checking them now. I'll do nothing because they all seem perfectly happy. Under normal circumstances, when you check your cattle, you're meant to come in and put every single one of them up and watch for a stretch. Because you don't want any downed animals. That's the normal. But I don't like to come in and wreck their heads. I probably will do it later on. I get to see that when I'm opening up gaps and they come in moving. But in a set stock situation, when you're not going to open up a fence, I suppose that would make sense. What do you think, Maverick, huh? You'll have an interesting calf next year. A line down her back and a white head. A sprickly white head. This lady is definitely a calf. We had some people that were thinking that she mightn't be, but we felt the calf. We can see the calf kicking around inside her. You can see how springy she's getting and soft. So we're going to have a calf. The bull left these cattle last October, so the latest we'll have a calf is October, September, August, July. So we're now at the end of June. So we still have time. Beltymore's bursting. So I'm very excited about these next two calves. I'm very pleased with Jasper's calves. Even though I wasn't that mad about Jasper last year, he turned out to have, let's just say he was the opposite of this fella, in my opinion, but his calves turned out great. So this is Friday the 20th of June. An extra long video because I'm that little bit more excited. You'll notice that I'll have a flurry of videos when I'm enthusiastic and when there's not much happening and I'm a little bit annoyed. I might go quiet for a week or so. But that lady he's following up now was the first lady to calf. She's a first calf heifer. She's 2.5 now, or over 2-year-old, so she calved as a 2-year-old. If he bulls her now, that's a real good sign. As I said before in lots of videos, the second calf is the toughest. And they tend to go out a little bit late on their second calf. They definitely hold 3 months anyhow before they come bulling again. It's very rare that a first calf heifer as a 2-year-old will come bulling before she was bulled the first time. Unless she's really, really well minded. Look at that fella. I'm very happy with that lad. I like to come into a field and none of the animals even look at you. It's when they look at you that they're concerned. Right, I'm going on a waffle. We'll talk soon. The 20th of June. A big update. Great excitement around the place. Even though it looks like there's not a bit happening. We'll put all this together and we'll post it in the afternoon. And you'll hear from me again next week. Look at this calf actually. God almighty. This calf is a heifer calf off a first calf cow. That calf is only 3 months old. March, April, May, June. That calf is nearly the size of the cow already. That's what you call a growth rate. There's a thumbnail now if I had his head on the far side. Or the near side. That's amazing. She's going to be bulling soon. He likes to follow them up. Right, I'll talk soon. For now, I'll say good luck. I don't know why I'm whispering. and goodbye.